On August 6, 1945, during the final days of World War II, the United States dropped the first atomic bomb in history on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. At exactly 8:15 in the morning, a B-29 bomber called Enola Gay released a bomb known as Little Boy. Within seconds, a blinding flash lit up the sky, followed by an enormous explosion that destroyed almost the entire city. Buildings collapsed, fire spread everywhere, and tens of thousands of people died instantly. By the end of the year, more than 140,000 people had lost their lives because of the blast, burns, and radiation. But among the devastation, one man somehow survived. His name was Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a 29-year-old Japanese engineer who worked for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. At the time, he was in Hiroshima for a 3-month business trip related to shipbuilding. August 6 was supposed to be his last day in the city before returning home to his family. That morning, Yamaguchi was walking toward the shipyard when he suddenly heard the sound of an airplane overhead. When he looked up, he saw a parachute floating down from the sky. Just seconds later, a massive flash of light filled the air. The atomic bomb exploded only about 3 kilometers away from where he was standing. The blast was so powerful that it knocked Yamaguchi into a nearby ditch. The heat from the explosion burned his face and arms, and his eardrums were badly damaged. Around him, buildings collapsed and fires began to spread rapidly across the city. Despite being injured and shocked, Yamaguchi managed to survive the initial blast. That night, he found shelter in an air-raid bunker with other survivors. The city around them had turned into a burning wasteland. The next day, even though he was injured and in pain, Yamaguchi decided to return to his hometown. His hometown was Nagasaki, about 300 kilometers away. He managed to reach the train station and somehow caught a train back home. The journey was difficult, but he finally arrived in Nagasaki on August 8th. When he reached home, his wife and young son were shocked to see his injuries. The following morning, on August 9th, Yamaguchi went to work despite his condition. When he arrived at the Mitsubishi office, his boss did not believe his story about the destruction of Hiroshima. Yamaguchi tried to explain how one single bomb had destroyed an entire city. As he was describing the explosion, something unbelievable happened at around 11:02 a.m. The sky above Nagasaki suddenly flashed with another blinding light. Another atomic bomb, called Fat Man, had just been dropped on the city in an instant. The second explosion destroyed large parts of Nagasaki. The blast wave shattered buildings and sent debris flying everywhere. Once again, Yamaguchi was thrown to the ground by the powerful shockwave. Amazingly, he survived a second atomic bomb explosion. His home was damaged, and the city was heavily destroyed. But his wife, and his child all managed to survive the disaster. After the war ended, Yamaguchi lived a quiet life in Nagasaki. However, the effects of radiation and the trauma of the bombings stayed with him for many years. For decades, he rarely spoke publicly about his experience. But later in life, he began sharing his story to warn the world about the dangers of nuclear weapons. In 2009, the Japanese government officially recognized Tsutomu Yamaguchi as the only person known to have survived both atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He spent his final years speaking about peace and encouraging the world to never repeat such tragedies again. Tsutomu Yamaguchi passed away on January 4, 2010. At the age of 93, his life remains one of the most incredible survival stories in human history. A man who witnessed the destructive power of nuclear weapons not once, but twice, and lived to tell the story to the world. His experience serves as a powerful reminder of the horrors of war and the importance of striving for peace.